Now I started.
Welcome to the Alex Show.
Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. Um, what I'd like to show today is the idea that I've had for years. This is called a trip, TRIP book, and a trip book will take you on an adventure. Who knows where? It's a matter of finding things in the book that appeal to you or that resonate with you, or perhaps even offend you, because
Hopefully.
there's guaranteed to be things that are politically incorrect. And what was correct yesterday may not be tomorrow. So bear
It's a
that
good
in
lesson.
mind. But
Yeah.
I will just show you what it looks like. I'll hold this up and just kind of maybe show you pages and open it up wider. Oh, perhaps you can help. There you go. And I'll just move the pages. So you see that there's an assortment of sayings, there's an assortment of thoughts, of witty items that people or myself have decided to include. There are pictures, there are some things that are perhaps going to please you and perhaps not please you, depending. But the point
I
is,
recognize that guy.
Yeah, let's
Turn
go
back
back
that
for a
page. Oh, who might that be?
yes, yes. Oh, yes. Should we read
Yeah.
that? Yeah, there's a shot of Leslie and I.
Leslie and Alex relax at home.
Yeah. Uh, and it says briefly,
1996.
this was 1996. In addition to helping cancer patients, Mr. Pellegrini currently has his art showing at the Hatley Martin Gallery and the Mecca Gallery in San Francisco. This summer, he was selected to be in a special Monterey Museum exhibit of California artists. And we'll have a one-man show in November at the Banham Gallery in San Francisco's North Beach.
Wow.
So it was a busy year for me.
Sorry I missed it.
Yeah, and this is a nice shot of us in the home front at the time. And so I thought it was memorable enough to be in the trip book.
I'll say.
And then, of
what
course,
was earlier?
oh, and
Is
that,
there
no correlation between a quote and a photo.
Okay.
This says, Kata told me to check out Sanibel Island in Fort Myers, Florida. Also, the Bowman Beach, and she was talking in that early time of the 90s, 1996, about the importance of sea glass, and she was the one that made me aware of it and unusual shell life. And this beach is known for the best shells in America. So it's called Sanibel Island.
I used to go there with my family.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Did you realize at the time?
It was fabulous shelling.
Yeah. If only we could have that here at our local beach.
And also, did you know that Peter lived there for a brief year in his early childhood?
I didn't know that. No,
Yeah.
no. Okay. So I'm sure he'll have stories to tell.
Is that Kata from the doll? Kata Martina?
Kata, yes, that's the same Kata.
Yeah.
Kata was, at the time I was leading a cancer support group, having been a survivor and working in the field of counseling. I was asked by my local hospital, St. Francis Hospital, if I would be so kind or interested in doing a group to help survivors and patients and their loved ones. So it went on for 7 years on a weekly basis, and Kata became a personal friend. Was a cancer patient, and her aunt also was a cancer patient. So that was a frame of reference. She would talk a lot about this beach that she loved so much.
Yeah.
So still haven't made it there yet. But anyway, I wanted to go back to just show you that there are clippings, there are photos. There, there's there's a lot. You'll have to help me again. There's a lot of funny stuff in a trip book, but the important thing is it represents how I was feeling at a certain time in my life, and the things that were influential, or things that struck me, things that seemed important. Sometimes I'll go back and I'll remove things that I no longer find acceptable, but that's rare. That's rare. Usually it's something that could be interpreted as being sexist or bigoted in some way.
Good advice for men about women and for women about men. I
Yeah.
should probably
Take
a closer look.
Absolutely, yes, go ahead. I just want to show a quick picture of my father, who would be on the left, and his brother John. They were very important men, to the Bank of America. My father was a personal messenger boy to A.P. Giannini, the founder of the Bank of Italy, and then the Bank of America, and finally his younger brother, who is the taller man, and John, was the head of traveler's checks in America for the bank. So they really gave a lot to banking, and several other members of the family worked for the bank. So they were really, really very much involved, and would not be pleased with what has happened to the Bank of America today, because they've lost their Italian base, and they're now in North Carolina. They left San Francisco as their foundation, and their home base is now North Carolina, and it has a lot of very important Republican folks that are running the bank, and it's changed dramatically, and not for the better. But anyway, I wanted to point them out.
Yeah, thank you.
They're yet to find a place in the trip book.
I have a couple questions for you about
Yeah,
this book.
sure,
But also,
please.
I'd like to read aloud
Yeah, would you?
maybe
Yeah,
two or three
Sure, you can.
pieces of advice.
Yeah, please do.
From
It's
this.
a wonderful idea. Plus, you'd never asked. It's a little refreshment here.
So, good advice for males
About females?
women.
Okay.
Amongst the things you should do, dig up a date for her homely, lonely cousin.
Yeah. Sometimes you're out on a double date, or want to be, and the woman in question has a relative that has no one to be with her. So that's something that a man should do, is provide.
Tell her she's prettier than her mother.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
When you're at a party together, never leave her alone while you're off being charming somewhere else. with
Yeah,
someone else.
yeah.
Most women are inclined to be insecure and not as aggressive as men in social situations.
That's right. That's right. I found it to be absolutely true over my many decades of being on the planet. Don't leave your lady at a party to talk to your blokes or other ladies. Certainly not.
If she's flat-chested and a 38D walks by, pretend not to notice.
Yeah. That's particularly interesting because I managed to get in trouble on that one, only because I had human frailty at the time. But now that I've espoused divinity, I don't have those issues.
Then must be
Everyone is equal.
pleasure.
Tell me about that divinity that you've acquired for yourself.
Okay.
You just pass that off like a side comment, but that
Well,
that is a matter for elaboration, I believe.
Invisibility sunglasses.
Well, invisible sunglasses and also an invisible soul, so that people don't know that my soul may be roaming. They'll see Alex sitting here, but the soul is actually playing bocce. Or
dear
perhaps
me.
it's up in the Fontana building,
nah.
looking down at
Wrap
us.
this up.
We'll wrap it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting into trouble.
We could climb up and upon. Well, anyways. Also, for women,
Oh yeah.
there's
Give us
a
one for
point
women.
about
Something that-
keeping clean. A woman can't bathe enough.
Yeah, that's the thing. See, men can go around with dirty clothes, dirty bodies, really.
When you feel turned
Unshaven,
on,
but a
turn on
woman.
the shower and jump in.
Yeah.
Only if you feel turned on. Otherwise, don't worry about it.
Yeah, a woman has to be all the time clean. She has to go out into the world, clean clothes, clean body, and smell like soap,
Well, it's,
or better, or
Which means you should be eating a lot of lavender ice cream.
yeah, that
yeah,
would
that
help.
was a really strange choice that Jas made the other day.
Yes, and I've regretted it ever since.
Visually, it was quite attractive, but
Yeah, lovely color, but it doesn't register as food.
oh, nice.
Could you read that out loud?
It's a man at the doctor's office. The doctor says, I'm going to prescribe tubes of oil paint, which I want you to apply to canvas at least once a day to relieve stress. That's nice. I like that. So, well,
So you see,
sucked
it's
into this.
a repository of all kinds of things. Now, many of us will have these things in a drawer or perhaps in a trunk somewhere. Eventually, we move around the world and we lose them, or perhaps our parents throw them away when we're adults going off to college. So, if you can hold on to them, put them somewhere where you can treasure them, and then go back every few years and say, "Wow, that's what I was thinking then. That's amazing. Look at how much I've grown or how much I've receded." from what I used to think. So,
Look at that attitude.
Precious.
Like in the sewing, the
yeah,
yarn
exactly.
advertising.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you can show that as
Yeah.
well. We're looking at this young woman with tremendous. Pardon?
I was thinking that was a little boy.
Oh, a little, oh, okay, maybe it
Well,
is.
yeah.
Yeah. But the thing we're noticing.
It's a little
in
hard to say.
particular-
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. It is a boy?
I think I was mistaken.
Anyway, I think that regardless, the outfit would be outstanding for any child to have.
Or adult.
Or adult to have, yeah. I would wear that in a second. Absolutely.
You're getting close already, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want to belabor this, but I wanted to show you that I have about 17, 18 of these, and each one is a treasure to me. Probably my most important creation are these books because they can live on really well, and I want them to be in the world. So I told Leslie that these are important.
Yeah.
Everything is important, but these are the most.
It's like an amalgamation of.
Yeah, yeah. It's an amalgamation of my life in a sense.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's.
So how long do you spend then, page to page? Is it course of weeks or?
Well,
varies?
it's a good question. What will happen is I'll get the urge, let's say around 10 o'clock at night, which is a good breaking time from activity, and I'll say to myself, it's time to work on a trip book.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the drawers that have tons of clippings and photographs and things from my past, and just go through and maybe spend 2 hours, and then just go back and figure out where they might be right, and then where a saying would fit in. And
So it's not done in order. It's.
no, it's not done in
Okay.
order. Yeah, it's not done. But it does represent, for the most part, a certain time period.
Yeah.
In other words, this one might have been from 1994 to 1997. See, and I noticed that I have still a ways to go. For some reason, I stopped and began a new book. So I can use this and just indicate that this is a new chapter, 2021.
1996, you were busy with Leslie
yeah,
down.
Yeah, settling down.
For a movie.
Yeah,
Or
and
100.
I want to point out my mandrill.
Oh yeah.
This is actually a mandrill, one of those fabulous animals. They have these wonderful noses with all kinds of coloration. And I did a really nice print. I'll have to photograph it.
Yeah.
And this is a black and white version that was in the show. The nice thing about these guys is they're very outrageous. Their behavior is really outrageous, and you don't want to get too close to them because they're not always user friendly. They have red rumps, really red rumps. I mean, a large portion of the rump is
Compared to a baboon, would you say
these are more
equal to baboon levels?
I would rather be with these guys because they're more righteous. They're just they're like the 3D version of the baboon, in my mind. But,
Yeah, I can believe that.
and Sophia Loren, who's still alive, did a wonderful movie just recently. Is still great looking, and she says all that you see here is from pasta. Her beauty.
That's mystifying.
Yeah.
On its face, mystifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a wonderful
gorgeously, what's the word? Gorgeously, incredibly gorgeous woman. Her whole life is now doing films with her son.
Huh.
She used to do them with her husband Carlo. Now it's her son that is doing films with her. Well, we can take a quick break.
I'm wondering, why did you decide to bring that one?
Oh, I brought this one because it was, the other ones, for some reason,
Matched the outfit.
no, the other ones get lost. And I have to go and find them periodically. So this one was the closest one that was visible. And I spent about an hour looking. See. But in the process, I found one of my journals, which is
good.
the next
Wow.
part. Yeah.
I can't wait. Okay.
Yeah. We can take a quick
2-minute